Today on Through the Numbers, we're going to be going over our best bets for Game 1, Round 2 of the WNBA semifinals. In the last video, we went 5-3, which puts us at 10-5 through these playoffs so far, and we'll look to continue that success Sunday here, starting with the 3:30 game between the Las Vegas Aces and the New York Liberty. We're going to start with Chelsea Gray over 13.5 points and rebounds. So here's why I like this play. She's gone over. She's gone over in 6 of her last 10, as you can see here, including both games in round 1 right there. If you watch the series against the Storm, Chelsea Gray was looking more like herself and that patented nickname, the Point God. She struggled to be consistent coming back from the injury about like a quarter way through the season. But she may have finally found her form here, which is real interesting. Against the Liberty, let's look at this. Against the Liberty, she's gone over in 9 of her last 10. So I really like this play. Obviously, the one thing that scares you off is the more recent game she went under. But like I said, there was a bit of inconsistency to her game this season. And she only took 7 shots, and she went 1 for 7 in that game. She really had an off game. If you look at where she's been at recently and how she's normally performed against this team, going with the trend that she's looking like herself again, I really like this play. So we're going to go over 13.5 points and rebounds for Chelsea Gray. We're going to lock that one in. And as a side note, I do also like the points in this one. I was looking at it over 9.5. It's over 10.5 now, which I don't like as much. But again, you look at the matchup. In the matchup throughout her career, including last year, where she was, obviously her old self, the Point God, she went over in 9 of 10. So again, I kind of like that, but I would lean. I would take the points and rebounds instead, more so just because the Liberty give up a lot of rebounds to the guard position. And I think that helps us out if she doesn't take as many shots as we'd like her to in this game, because she could get that over if she's close to it with the rebounds there. All right, so let's jump into the next one. Same game we're looking at here. This time we're gonna be looking at A'ja Wilson, and we're gonna look at the under 24.5 points in this one. Now for most of you, it'll be pretty hard for anyone to tell you to fade the league MVP, but I like this play. Okay, now I won't lie, this is going to be a sweat, and if you do bet it. It is going to be a sweat if you do bet it. But the Liberty play A'ja pretty tough, and this isn't an ideal matchup for her. As we can see over here in Outlier, Liberty are number 1 at allowing the fewest points to the center position. So that's the first thing you like in it. She's gone under in 3 straight, only 5 of her last 10. Let's check for a second road game. So road game's kind of the same deal, but what's really interesting about this one is we go over to the head-to-head. And the reason why I'm taking this is, again, if it goes to 23.5, and I think I've seen it at 23 on some books already. I don't think I'd bet this. But under 24.5 at 25, look, she's only gotten 25 or more in 1 of her last 11 games against them. So 10 of 11 under, 3 straight this season, and she's been going off this. Or sorry, 2 already this season, and she's been going off this season. Her point totals for the season, you can see in general over this number 38 she's only gone under 38% of the time this season. That's how many points, compared to she went under 68% last season. But the matchup with the Liberty is just way too hard for me to not try to fade her here, especially if you're gonna give me 24.5. So we're gonna bet the under here. All right, for this next one, we're going to move on to the other game, the 8:30 game between the Connecticut Sun visiting the Minnesota Lynx. And I'm going to bet the spread on this one. So let's move back into Outlier. As you can see here, at 4.5, both these teams have performed well at this number over their last 10. At home, Lynx 80% have covered minus 4.5. Connecticut on the road, though, they've covered 70% of the time. And again, it's 80 and 70 again for their last 10 in general. If we go to this head-to-head matchup, though, this is where I really like it. Look at that. So 90% of their how many is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 9 of their last 10 matchups, the Connecticut Sun have covered this number against the Minnesota Lynx. That's number one why I like this. The other thing that I really, really like in this game for the Suns is they happen to have all the experience. They have way more experience and playoffs and experience with playoff success in this matchup here. If we look at the sort of team stats here, you can kind of make the case that, hey, the Lynx are the better team, and I would kind of agree with you. I like the Lynx better. Believe me, I'm a Lynx fan, and I faded Connecticut consistently throughout this year, but I just don't think Minnesota matches up well against this team. And given the experience, given that the Sun added at the deadline Marina Mabrey to give him that other offensive threat that'll also maybe cause Minnesota problems in this game, I gotta go with the Sun to cover here. That's sort of where I'm at on this one. All right, so the first player prop I want to talk about in this game, let's go into Outlier, is I like Bridget Carleton over 13.5 points and rebounds. We've bet this in, I believe, both previous playoff games, and it did hit in the last two. So we're kind of going back to the well with this one. Carleton's gone over in 7 of her last 10. She's gone over in 2 straight matchups versus the Sun since her role has evolved. If we go over here, like we can see, like, kind of, and this is consistent if you look at her stats, in earlier years, 2023 and 2022, she kind of didn't have the role. She definitely wasn't getting near the minutes that she's getting now, but she's been racking up the minutes of late, and especially in these playoffs, and we expect this to continue thanks to her defensive versatility, and just she's a strong shooter. She has a great shooting percentage. So that'll keep her involved in these games as long as she's not fouling out. But she's averaging around 35 minutes through the first 2 playoff games here, and she was averaging a lot of minutes late down the stretch too. So if we look at when she plays around 34, even 33, 34. When she plays around 34 minutes, she plays at least 34 minutes. She's gone over in 9 of her last 10. Sure, this isn't the ideal matchup because she's playing against the Sun, and the Suns are very good against the forward position, but she's shown she can do it this season and hit the over on this against them. She has, and she did. And she's showing when she gets the minutes, she can be a very productive player. And, why mess with this good thing for us? She's gone over in 2 straight for us. Let's run it back and go Bridget Carleton over 13.5 points and rebounds again in game 1 here. All right, the next player prop we're going to look into is Napheesa Collier under on her rebounds. Let's go into Outlier. So under 8.5 is the number. Collier's gone under this number. Fifi, as I like to call her, she's gone under in 6 of her last 10. And as you can see here, this is not a great rebounding matchup for her because of how she'll match up against the Sun. That's first of all. Second of all, in this head-to-head matchup here, she's gone under in 7 of her last 9, including both games that they've played this season. So this is just a bad rebounding matchup for her, and she's probably going to be used similarly to how she was used in the last series against the Mercury, is trying to be that primary scoring option. So they're going to want her to focus more on that, and you're going to see the boards go to more like Alana Smith, or hopefully for us, Bridget Carleton. So that's why we like this one. I think it's a pretty solid play. So yeah, if you're with us, let's hit Napheesa Collier under 8.5 rebounds. All right, so last play, we're going to look at Alyssa Thomas over 9.5 assists in this one. Let's jump into Outlier, and as you can see, she's gone over in 6 of her last 10. More importantly here, she's gone over in 7 of 10 against the Lynx. And another interesting stat that I found, hold on, let me look it up here, is so she's covered in 5 of 7 playoff games. She covered in 5 of 7 playoff games last season, including 2 of 3 against the Lynx in the first round. She's already covered in both games in the first round right now. And like I said, she covered in her last 2 against Minnesota. Now, if we look here at injuries, you can see Tyasha Harris, or Ty Harris as some call her, is a game time decision. If she's out of this game, there's not a ton of data behind it, but games without Ty Harris, as you can see in the head-to-head, Alyssa Thomas put up 14 in the game earlier this year without Ty Harris in the lineup. She's only played 2 games this season, or in the last 2 seasons, she's only played 2 games without Ty Harris, and she's gone significantly over in this one. So another thing that I like, so I've bet this already on her over 9.5, but if Ty Harris is ruled out, you can't talk me off of laddering her assists up to 12 or even 13. You can get the 12 on FanDuel, you can get the 13 on Bet365. The 12 was at plus 255, and I believe we can actually check it out right here for you real quick. So they only have it with a 12. The 12 they're saying is plus 260 on FanDuel. I got it at 255, but if it's plus 260 and Ty Harris is out of this game, I like that too. Let's keep the streak going. Let's keep going. It's gonna be some good games. Like if we're talking about I'm probably going to switch over from football to watch this Aces versus Liberty game, because I think that's going to be an intense game. That's an intense rivalry, and even the later game might be worth watching. But there is a nice late game of football, I will say that. But anyways, really excited for these matchups coming up. So if you like these picks, do me a favor, like, subscribe, share, comment, all that stuff that helps the channel. That's really appreciated. And if you have anything that I may have overlooked, any plays you like, I'd like to know that too, because that helps me kind of learn. And maybe if you see something I don't see, I can look into those numbers, and then I can maybe help bring maybe that'll help my plays the next time we come out here, so we can all be aligned together. And also tell me what you're rolling with on this one. Other than that, that's all for me this time. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.